what about that? How many tractors did you see on that? It's funny, isn't it? You start to think you're getting a bit professional on these things. Try and make it so it's not my ugly face. Starts the thing off, I thought, well, I'll have a head in there and make it look as if I know what I'm doing. My daughter had suggested to me that I should do some live film of stuff I do, because I'm always on with projects and things. So this was last week. So I ordered this fancy piece of kit. It's a phone holder, and you set it up, and these legs, they'll bend and they'll fit around anything. So today I thought I'd try it out. I'm building a trailer, and it's an unusual trailer, and you'll see it one day. Anyway, I climbed up in the corner of the workshop and set this camera up and got it so as it was right, and you put it on time lapse, and then it's supposed to show what's happening and do it. Well, what I was doing was quite a bit going on, but it would need to be slow because I'm not that fast at it. But there was cutting and welding and grinding and different lengths of steel going on, and it was all about the chassis really. So cracked on with it and did what I was doing. Every time you're thinking, Christ, I mustn't scratch my arse and mustn't do this and mustn't do that. But anyway, got on quite good. Some things didn't go quite according to plan, and you're thinking, shit, the camera's still going, but I can cut it out, so great, isn't it? So I suppose I did, well, hour and a half, and I thought, I'd better see what that camera's doing. Anyway, I went to get the camera, and I think the first time I moved the crane in the workshop, it turned over, and you got 2 hours of seeing the wall. So the time lapse thing isn't that successful yet. So we'll do that another day. Try it again. I should anchor it a bit better. It doesn't grip quite as tight as I thought, but it's a fabulous picture of the wall. Anyway, back to business. Timmy's truck has been immensely popular. We've hit 2,000 views with it. That was the piece I put on last night, not the main feature film. Then this was just the update. So there is a following out there. Well done. Hopefully, I'm not going to mess it up. I'm going to talk about a tractor today. It's an orange tractor, and it's one of these that I didn't really want it. It was offered as a challenge, and it came to me last. It was 3 years ago now, 2.5 years anyway. And Tom Harrington, he's on Facebook quite a bit. You'll know him, and if you go to the rallies, you'll certainly know Tom, because he used to take tankers around filling up the steam engines. But he got hold of me over Christmas, and he said, "Do you fancy a challenge?" And I said, "What do you mean a challenge?" Well, he said, "I've got a diesel major," and he said it's got a welder on it. It's an Ex Western excavating one. So I thought, Western X, a lot of people work there. That should be interesting. So, yeah, he said it's a bit rough. He said it's not been kept very well. So, well, it's a diesel major. It doesn't matter. Can't hurt a diesel major, can you? So I said, well, what's the price then? So we agreed the price, and it was cheap. There was no doubt about it. If I only used it for spares, it was worth having. So we agreed to meet, and it was a New Year's Day. We're going to meet on New Year's Day, and I went up to Calford to get this tractor, and this is what I saw. Challenge is one thing, but that was a bit serious. But anyway, I'd said I'd have it, and I'd said I'd take on the challenge. Why do I do these things? But anyway, so we loaded it up, and I brought it home, and as you do, I sort of looked at it. Well, you must never be too frightened of these things, and the first thing to do when you get anything like that is cut the crap off and see what you've got left. And so that's what I did. That's what I set about doing. And I got rid of the old, what was left of the mudguards. There was nothing there really. Bonnet and cowling had gone. Radiator was shot. It was in a bad way really, but it was supposed to be working when it was last used. They all are until they were last used, but this was supposed to be a runner. So I blew the tyres up. Front tyres were flat, and I didn't think they'd be any good at all, but actually they blew up and they held air, and that was good. The back wheels weren't there at all, but I'd got a set of actually coming off a Nuffield, pair of wide wheels, and I put those on it, and I'd got some old mud guards and I stuck those on it the way, and just made it look a bit tidier, and just to show Tom what I could do, really, I put a photograph of it on Facebook that night, and it looked quite respectable. I hadn't even taken off the trailer. I did it all on the trailer because it was going to be easy to unload it like that, and if I'd taken it off without the wheels, I wouldn't have known where to put it anyway. So that's what I did, and so it got to look like this. Now, looking like a tractor doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go, and I knew it wasn't going to be quite right, but I'd got the starter off it, and I got a bar inside, and I could move the engine, but it was like I got so far and it wouldn't go any further. I thought, this thing's got water on top of the pistons or something. Anyway, I tried and I couldn't do it, and then I realised that I'd got the pulley in gear, and so it was trying to drive the generator, and the generator was seized up. So what I was getting was the tension on the belts, which I thought was water, and so I knocked it out of gear, and I was able to turn it over. And that was, I thought a real result here. Well, the following day, no, it might not have been the following day, but anyway, next time I touched the tractor, Tom turned up and said, right, we'll give it a tow and see if we can get it to go. Well, not a chance. It just wouldn't have anything. So it was clearly there was something wrong. So we thought we'd got to whip the head off and see what's under it. Well, how it wasn't seized up, I don't know, because there was that much water under the head, but it wasn't seized, and we gave it a good clean up and got the injectors out and pushed them through the injector tester and got a set that would work. None of the injectors were going because all the ends had rusted up. So I put another set of injectors in, and we thought we'll give it a try. And the injector pump seemed to be spitting where it should, so it should go, shouldn't it? And we gave it a tow, and it did go, and it went well, really. But it was misfiring. You could hear a misfire on it. Tom gave it quite a trial. I'll show you how he tried it. Did you spot the deliberate mistake where he blew the exhaust pipe out and ran over it? Fortunately, it was only the end of it, so I was able to straighten it out. And on the next run, clearly the tractor had got a bit of go. The engine was good. If it'll pull, our drive is our sort of test bed. If you can start at the bottom of that drive and get in a top gear as you're coming up there, it's a good engine. That's my test. I don't need a dyno. Come up my drive. That'll do it. So that was it. We got it going, and it was okay. Next thing was the generator. Now, I didn't know what to do with that, really. How do you hit it? You can't hit it. If you want to free someone off, you need to hit it, and or get a bar in there and lever it or do something. But there was nowhere to put a bar in. There was, everything I could see looked too fragile. I daren't put a tire lever in there. And there was all sorts of suggestions coming about it, but it wasn't going to work. And I knew if I got in there heavy-handed, I could do an awful lot of damage. And I'd spoken to somebody that knew about those things. You know, he's used to doing heavy motors and things, and he said, well, it won't be hurt. You know, you've got, if you can get it to move, it'll be okay. You'll have to play around with it, but it should go. So, yeah, easy. So I tried. I didn't try that hard, but I whacked some WD-40 around it and tried to free it off, and then it really got set to one side. But then one day I was talking to a friend of mine, Paul Bennett, and he said, I know somebody's got one of those generators for sale, welders. And oh yeah, who's that then? Oh, I don't know his name. And I said, oh, well, what does he look like? Oh, he's a big bloke. Well, yeah, there's quite a few big blokes. Even in Cornwall, there's quite a few big blokes. So he couldn't think who it was and got a clue, but he said, I know him. Anyway, this went on for some time. I wasn't too worried about it. I got plenty to do anyway, but the tractor was mobile as far as I was concerned. And then we were at a funeral. We went to a funeral of somebody, and Paul was there, and he said, that chap's over there. He said, he's the one that's got the sale. Well, because as soon as I saw him, I knew him, William Woods. And William had one of these welders, and I'd forgotten about it. But he got one of these welders, and he used to do a huge amount of welding with it out at ECLP, or Western Ex territory. So it was pretty good. So I went to see him, and he'd got this welder off the tractor. He'd sold his tractor, and the welder was off, and because he intended to put it on something else, but he never did get round to it, and he did want to sell it, but neither one of us, I didn't want to make an offer because I knew what I wanted to pay, and it wasn't much, and he didn't want to give me a price because he knew what he wanted for it, and it was a lot more than he thought I'd pay. So it turned out that the price was quite a bit, and I didn't know what to do because, you know, I'd got the welder. I'd got a welder, all I got to do was get it going, but I'd also got this one that I knew would work, which I could put on it. So after a lot of heart searching, and one of my Facebook mates, Scruff Wilton, actually, he'll be looking at this, he said, where are you going to get another one? And that turned it for me, because he was absolutely right. If this didn't work, if mine didn't work, where was I going to get another one? So I went, and I did manage to haggle 50 quid off of William, but everything was there, more than I expected really, and he gave me heaps of welding rods and all sorts of stuff went with it, which was great. So brought it back, and we put it on, and well, here's problem was we got everything working. You know, the tractor was going and all the revving and doing about, but we couldn't get a spark out of it. And I thought, well, I'd never used one before, so I didn't know if I was doing anything right. So I rang William up and I said, look, I said, we've got the welder on, I think we're doing everything right, but we can't get it to spark. And of course William panic really. Not panic, William didn't panic, but he said, oh dear, he said, I'll have to come and sort it out for you. And I said, well, there's no panic, you know, you come when you're ready and we'll see what it's what. Well, I think it 20 minutes and he was there. And he sorted it out in no time. And what it was, the brushes inside the motor were sticking, and because it wasn't making contact, so it wasn't going to weld. Had it been the other way round, we'd been trying to drive it instead of it being driven. That's the first thing you'd look for. But as I say, I didn't know anything about it. But William had got this stack of welding rods with him, so he gave us a demonstration and showed us how to weld, and it was good. I mean, William did a bit first, then Ian had a go. Ian helps me a lot, and then I had a go. Luckily, my weld isn't on film, but I can say that it was it's one of the smoothest welders I've ever used. I've done a lot of arc welding in the past, and I've still got an arc welder now. I'm not into the big stuff. I like to have something tap and knock the flux off and find a good weld under it. And quite a few times I find a bad weld, but running beautifully then, and then William produced all the handbooks for it, and you know, it was there, everything from new really. So part exploded diagram, I could see exactly how to take the other one apart once I'd got those books, but too late. But anyway, I don't regret that at all, because that's it's got the thing going, and so because it was operational then, and was what really was all I needed, although I had intentions of doing it. Now, when we were pulling it apart and putting it together, we could clearly see orange paint underneath it, and that was Western X old colours. So I thought, well, I've got a lot of blue tractors here, and much as I hate bloody Nuffields, I thought I'd have a decent orange tractor, so I painted orange. And then Rex Curtis, who's used to do a lot of work at Western X and clay pits, and he knows all about it, and he knows all the stuff. And of course, Rex is sets up the vintage area at Royal Cornwall, and he said, I saw him, I don't know where I saw him, but anyway, saw him, and it must have been right at the start of the season, and he asked me if I'd got anything for Royal Cornwall. And we'd taken the Fergies up there 2 years before, and the following year I didn't do anything, but I said, I'll tell you what I've got, Rex. I said, I've got a Western X tractor, but I said, I've got to get it painted up yet. So, oh, that'd be marvellous if we could have that there. He said, that'd be really good, because, you know, nobody's seen one of those before. Good old Rex buttering me right up. But so it spurred me on to do it, and it was a bank holiday weekend. It could, in fact, was it this week? It was this Whitsun weekend. And I set about this thing and stripped it down, took it and got it pressure washed at my mate's, because my pressure washer wasn't man enough for that. There was a lot of clay still stuck to it. You wouldn't believe how much was still there. Had been there years. Clay, diesel, cow shit, it was all there. So I took it and cleaned it off, and this pressure washer, it would take paint off, it's that good. So washed everything off and brought it back, and over the course of the weekend I got it all painted up and changed the appearance completely. put it back together, put the Western X stickers on, and there you see it, the finished object. So there you are. That's the story of the of Western X. Since then, it's Tom Harrington's favourite. If he comes here for a road run or anything, always takes Western X out on the run, and it's known as Western X. We don't call it the Welder tractor or anything like that. We just call it, oh, Western X. Here's Western X, you know, and that's one of those that's got a name. Now the old Welder, because I'd still got it. So what do you do with it? So it's got a value for scrap because it's quite a big lump, but it seemed a shame to get rid of it. And I bought a load of Fordson major bits, and I got a good back end. No engine, the engine was shot in it, but virtually everything was there. So I built this tractor up. I got a spare engine, so I put the engine in it, and I'd got the tractor, and I thought, well, I could put that welder on that, which is what I've done. I've put my old welder on this tractor I built up, and it's it's actually in a lot better state than the original one I bought that Tom found me. But I don't know what to do. You know, I really haven't got time to do it. I've got so many other projects to do, and why do I want two of them? You know, but I could have a twin pair there. I've even got a big pair of wide wheels I could put on it and have a matching pair, but you know, I don't really want a fleet of welders, so I haven't decided yet, but I will probably sell it in the end, and you know, somebody else can have the fun I've got. If they get the motor going, the welder going, it's easy, you know, because it's just put it in gear and go, isn't it? All the stuff's there. Even the cables are still hanging on it, but they're not very long. So that's the end of the Western X project. How about that for a view then? Beautiful, isn't it? And there's another beautiful view. This is Western X. This is not quite how I bought it. I've got the drawbar for it, and I've got a set of arms, but it should have a framework that carries the oxyacetylene bottles, and they used to go out as a full unit so they could go out and cut and weld and do what they wanted. And I guess they probably pulled a little trailer or something behind them just to carry the odds and ends, but it was a self-contained unit really. As you can hear, she's taking over beautiful now. You need a few more revs if you're welding. I'm about to give you a demonstration. That welder's a nice big healthy lump there, and it really is smooth when you're welding with it. It's being a DC welder, it's so much different direct current as opposed to AC alternating current. It gives you a much smoother weld, and you know, it will bang it down. It's a 450 amp welder, so it's a fair old beast. The only trouble is it's just a little bit heavy to put in the back of your car. Now the observant ones among you may have noticed a few spots of diesel under the tractor. Now that's because when I started it, I went to top it up with water, and I lifted the bonnet, and the bleed plug on top of the filter was just weeping, just a little, and I thought, oh, that's a shame, letting that drip down. And I got a bleed screw in my pocket, so I tried to tighten the offending one, the one that was wrong, and it slipped a thread, and I thought there's something wrong there. I'm going to have to do something a bit more. So with the new bleed screw in my hand and the tractor still running, I took the old one out and thought I'd just change it over rather than while it was running, rather than do it and I risk having to bleed the tractor again. Oh my God, does that thing chuck some diesel out when you take that out? It was, I've never seen a pump pumping like it, but so that's what it was. By the time I got it back in, I got it all up my arm. It's actually all over my shirt as well, and I'm going to smell like heaven when I go in directly. So don't think many cuddles tonight, but anyway, so that's what the drips are underneath it. I thought I'd washed it off with the hose, but obviously didn't. It's not leaking anywhere. It's just dripped off the engine. So that's my excuses, and I'm sticking to it. Right, well, that's it for today. I'm going to try and do one a week. I can cope with one a week easy enough. I might get excited and do more. It depends. It depends how I am and what the weather's like and what tractors are available and how my mind's working. Wasn't working very well tonight, but anyway, lots to see, lots to look at. I still appreciate the comments on the Facebook page, and if you can get onto YouTube, I'm going to start putting the link to get you onto the YouTube channel. I don't want to lose the views. If we're getting 1,800, 2,000 views, I don't want to put anybody off from seeing it, because that's good, but I would like it to be seen on YouTube really and get the numbers up there. There's a bigger catchment area. The trouble is with Facebook, it sticks to your friends and only a few of them. You know, I don't know what I've got friends wise now, probably 800, and I know some of them aren't seeing it at all. So and I can understand why, because it would just jam the airwaves up, wouldn't it? But anyway, have a look at it on YouTube. If you subscribe, it doesn't actually cost you any money at all to subscribe to it. It just looks good for me, and if we can get enough there, they might stick an advert in front of it, in which case we get a bit of money for it, and I'm in it for the money. Anyway, no, I do enjoy it, and I'm sort of thinking about it quite a bit of the time, and it's getting the inspiration to do these things. But you know, it's coming, and of course I've always got Timmy to bring in. He's gone home tonight. He thinks he's George Clooney now because he's getting all these views, but he's got a little bit to go. He needs to do a bit of tinting, I think, somewhere along the line. But anyway, I'll be back with Timmy. Timmy's planning all sorts of things. You know, we're going to see Land Rovers and we're going to see motorbikes, and I don't know quite how he's going to work with Dave's tractors, but Timmy's got them there and he wants to bring them all out. So I'm holding him back at the moment. You know, always worth a bit of entertainment with Timmy anyway. But anyway, we'll see you, and see you shortly. Bye for now. Thanks for all your watching, and thanks for the comments.